A lot of times there's stories that are scary in the outcome. And I think they can really fit in the Halloween style of things. But the reason why is because Halloween is a byproduct of duality. It's focusing on so-called bad deeds and evil things and witches and scary things and stuff like that. That's an example of duality. It's focusing on what it calls the dark side. The problem here is duality calls the dark side a bad thing. Because we're programmed from the beginning in the modern world with dualistic thinking. We label that dark side as bad. We label it as something to stay away from, something that scares us, something that trying to scare you to behave. That's duality. Yeah? In our culture, it's the chichi man. Yeah? Lakota word and an English word together. Yeah? Chichi man. So you could tell that this is not ancient. It's a contemporary thing. And it's when you're an adult, it can be really funny. Yeah. I mean, when you see kids like that. Back in 1989, I think it was, or no, 1990, I was playing guitar for this singer. She had a little girl. Two of them, actually. One was 2 years old and the other one was 4. And the 4-year-old was a really radical kid, yeah? But she's a good kid. She's smart. She's smarter than most 4-year-olds. And anyway, we were going into this town. This singer was driving. I was in the passenger, and these two girls were in the back seat in their car seats. We're going to this town, and she was going to the post office to mail some things. This older girl said, "Mommy, I want to come with you." And the mom said, "No, you stay in there. You listen to David," she said. "Well, how come I can't go with you in there?" she said. "'Cause there's a chichi man in there," she said. Oh, she's really quiet. Say, "You better stand still or otherwise I'm going to tell that chichi man to come out here and get you." Oh, she just stood still. Yeah, just standing. And the 2-year-old too, yeah, she threw her bottle down. They were just standing still in the car. I was really having a hard time not laughing, yeah. So, the old 4-year-old was really a talker. So I asked her, I said, "Did you ever see the chichi man?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "What does he look like?" "He's a farmer." That just made me laugh. He's a farmer. He's a Washichu farmer, she said. Washichu's a white person. Oh man, that just really a cool memory, huh? This girl just really made me laugh. She's just serious too. He's a Washichu farmer. She's just standing still. Oh shit. See, this is what we use in Lakota culture. These people were Dakota, yeah, but we have the same culture. It's just, hey, that's something I should explain really quick because you heard me say Lakota, Dakota. I can do this really fast. We have an expression in Lakota, it's lila washte. That means really good. Dakota people say dida washte. Nakota people, they say dina washte. So again, Lakota, lila washte. Dakota, dida washte. Nakota, dina washte. You can hear Dakota and Nakota are very similar. Yeah? Dakota people say Dida. Nakota people say Dina. That means really. Whereas Lakota people would say Lila. That's the only difference. Other than that, it's the same language. Where we use L's, Dakota people use D's. And Nakota people use D's and N's. It's really interesting how that works. It's the way it's always been. So those are the three dialects. And this lady and her kids, they were Dakota, yeah, but they still have Chichi, yeah, the Chichi men. And I don't really. These were the first Dakota people I ever met, because Dakota people are clear on the other side of the state of South Dakota. We're on the west, and they're clear over on the east. It's like 5-hour drive between reservations. Really long. Actually, more like 6 now that I think about it. The Chichi man. He's a farmer. It's like, gee, what kind of mom does she have anyway? It's a farmer. her her mom must have had an ex-boyfriend who's a farmer, yeah? Man. Oh man, it's so funny. These are the kind of things that parents trying to get their children to behave. And these are the kind of things they say, yeah? Today, the Chichi man's coming. And children's imagination just runs wild, yeah? So they don't really know, but they know it's the mom will say, yo, Chichi man's coming, you know? And then they really get scared, yeah? And they're running under, closing their eyes really tight, trying to fall asleep. Oh man, this is funny. Well, that's a contemporary thing, yeah. I really don't know. Honest to goodness, I don't know if that exists in the ancient times, because we were different thinkers back then, yeah. So parenting was much different in old days than it is today. So, Chichi man. Shoot. So it's just crazy. Yeah, that's how it is. Anyway, yeah, he's a farmer. Oh man, that one had a funny mom, I think. Oh gosh, crazy memories here. But you see, that's like the reason why I say that I really don't think that's traditional is because it has a dualistic concept of scaring your kids to make them go sleep. I really don't think that existed in the old days, because in the old days it was not dualistic. It was something different. Yeah, that you just thought when it was time to sleep, the whole family went to sleep. Yeah, so that's how things were. Anyway, talking about this, when you dualize something and you're making one side good and the other side bad, and everything builds upon that, and that's really unfortunate because it's missing the point. Yeah, in reality, yes, there is a dark side. This is the truth, but this is not about good and bad. This is about two different worlds that live side by side simultaneously, that each serves a purpose. But you know what? There's something that joins these two. You see what I mean? There's always going to be a third element. And even as the earth goes around the sun, it's not just all daytime, then ching, all of a sudden it's dark at nighttime. That doesn't happen. There's a point where it changes. This is a sacred time. And then going from nighttime to daytime, there's another connection. So in this situation, there's 4 things. See what I mean? It's not just 2. The Bible teaches there's just 2. Duality teaches there's just 2. But that's a lie. Because nature's saying there's at least 3. And in most situations there's 4. But it's never just 2. Whenever you just look at 2, you have that tendency to say which one is bad and which one is good. But when there's 4, it's more like, okay, what are these things and what do they do? That's where ancient Lakota culture is coming from. So in our way, when the earth is at dusk, the sun has just set, and the sky is orange and red, this is a sacred time because now is the time for the dark side. This is not bad. It's just their time. So we stay in our areas, and there's no battle between the dark side and the light. There is no battle. They just have their own ways. They coexist. There is no reason to battle. Why? Why should there? Because if one just is only one way, if it's always nighttime, things will die. And that will affect the dark side in a bad way. Likewise, if it's always just light, other things will die. And that's going to affect everything in a bad way too. This is why when Christians and missionaries first came to the reservations and they were talking about heaven, Indians didn't want to go there. Because they know if it's only going to be light time, if there's only happiness, that's addiction. Only focusing on one emotion and only focusing on the day, that means other things are going to die. And those are not bad things. This is showing us that we did not see the dark side as bad. And we didn't see the light side as good either, because there's difficulties. And from that we learn. Yeah? This is really important. So we didn't judge things as good and bad. So we didn't say that the light side is good. We did not say that the dark side is bad. Those are just 2 different existences, 2 different things. And that they are joined together at different points. And where they connect is a sacred area. So the sacredness wasn't in the daytime. It was where the day and the night meet. And where they meet again in the morning. That's where the sacredness is. But when preachers are saying it's always going to be light, that's not the sacred area. And when they say there's going to be no troubles, that means there's no learning. And learning is good. So if there's no troubles, there's no blessing. This is the way Indians saw it. So they didn't want to go to heaven. So then America creates this mental asylum for those who don't fall in line. So now we're forced to go to church. See? That's not a good thing. So anyway, we did not see the dark side as evil. And we did not see the light as good. We just saw them as light and dark. They serve purposes. So in our way, sometimes you will meet your dark side. And it'll shock you at first. When you're not dualistic, it doesn't scare you, because you know it's the dark side. Even when you're thinking the ancient way, like I said, you will not call it evil. You will not say it's bad. You'll just acknowledge that's my dark side. That doesn't mean you're bad. But when all you know is duality, and you've seen movies on Jesus the Christ and Jesus of Nazareth and Ten Commandments and all these movie standards that usually show on Easter and Christmas, if that's all you know, and you meet your dark side, that then you automatically say it's evil. You go running for your Bible and tape Bible pages all over the walls and put a bunch of holy water in the bathtub and sit in there and and when you do that, you're actually killing yourself because first of all, you've said your dark side is bad, and what you're doing is you're trying to keep it away from you, which means you're dualizing yourself to the extreme, and that's going to lead to death. That's what happens when you label things as good versus evil. In the Lakota way, it's not like that. In the Lakota way, sometimes you may meet your dark side, but you just be at peace. And it doesn't scare you. It looks scary, but it doesn't scare you. As long as you're at peace with yourself, it's not a scary thing at all. So it reaches out, shake your hand. So when you shake its hand, it's just acknowledging. That's all it is. You're acknowledging that this is what that is. And as long as you keep the labels of good and bad out, it's okay. In fact, it's a fantastic moment to know your dark side, because then you really, really know yourself completely. Your dark side does not mean that these are the things that make you do bad things. No, 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 no. You don't need a dark side for that. No, 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 no. That's the dark side is not about temptations and, to do bad things. No, no, no. That's not the dark side. That's duality. The dark side is not a dualistic thing. It's just like the universe. The universe has a dark side too. Scientists call it antimatter. They have no idea what it is, but it is there. They think that when you come in contact with it, that it just destroys, but it doesn't. See, there's matter and there's antimatter, but see, remember I said there's at least two things, and in most situations there's four. So yes, there's matter and there's antimatter, but there's some other things too that scientists have not found yet. But we know about it because it's in our stories. And it teaches that because these things coexist, this is what creates peace. That's why I said it's important to learn from your difficulties from your past and those that are still yet to come. But in duality, we have the tendency to say difficulties are bad, so we avoid them. We dualize it, and we miss everything, and we don't develop emotionally. But in Lakota spirituality, you acknowledge everything, and that which is difficult, you learn from it. Make the most of it, because it's not a bad thing. That's kind of what the dark side is about. It's not a bad thing, but it's dualistic people who call it bad. So meeting your dark side is not it's scary, but when you're when you're not dualistic, you're not afraid either. Yeah, and you realize that it's a beautiful thing to see your dark side. It's a blessing to see your dark side, because then you really, really know yourself. And then I'm going to say this one more time. The dark side is not the bad things that you think of. The dark side has nothing to do with good or evil. Okay? It's something different. It's just a part of you that it has to be there. Otherwise, you can't exist. And there are some ceremonies that people go through, and even dreams where they see something shadowy, always there. And when you're programmed in a dualistic way, your tendency is to think that it's a bad thing. But when you know the star knowledge way, you don't see it as a bad thing. Talking about star knowledge, there's a lot of crazy people out there that have a false idea of what star knowledge is. And they think it's about spaceships and aliens and extraterrestrials and all that kind of thing, and it's not about that at all. And a lot of these kind of people, they believe in things like we're warriors of light and we're protecting this earth from the warriors of the dark. That's all bullshit. That's just a different flavor of the Bible. It's dualistic and it's man-made. They're not really separate from one another. And we are examples of that. We need both to be who we are. And you just have to remember to not put the labels on them. And then you'll do okay. A lot of times you receive inspiration to do things. Sometimes that's coming from your dark side. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's a blessing in disguise. And it's up to you to make it that way. So when you see these TV shows like Tales from the Dark Side, see, that's the dualistic moniker there. That's a label. That's not what the dark side really is. It's something different. And like I said, just stop putting labels on it and you'll slowly figure it out. Stop calling dark things bad and white things good, because then, for one thing, you're turned into a racist, and the next thing you know, you're very ugly inside of yourself. And since reality begins within, you're going to set yourself up for a lot of difficult situations that you don't really need. And it's all going to be because you will become dualistic, you will become a racist, and other things that are dualistic too, that are going to bring nothing but trouble for yourself. And you're doing it yourself. All of this stuff that I'm saying is based on Lakota Star Knowledge concepts of reality begins within, and like attracts like. You are what you attract what you are.
To read more about Lakota Star Knowledge spirituality, you can read my book called Wichocha Otechike. You can see the book cover on the right side of this screen. This book contains the information to what I talk about on my Lakota spirituality videos. To purchase this book, please click below where it says Show More. Clicking on that link will open up the description below, and there you will see a link called To Purchase My Books. As you will see, it's an eBay link. Click on that eBay link, and there you will see the information to get this book. Lila Pilamayelo. Thank you very much.